There's Kelly. Kelly made it. I wanted to show you the shout box real quick, but it's right at the bottom of the website, and we'll get those approved for you. So, without further ado, my goodness, Kelly Brickel's joining us here. And Kelly is a psychic medium, healer, numerologist, and spiritual teacher with over 10 years of professional experience and love of this work. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether the connection is through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there's always a pathway to information waiting to help. And without further ado, let's bring Kelly onto the show. Kelly, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, Todd? I'm doing good.
It's going. I mean, it's still weird for me. Being on Thursday nights instead of Fridays is confusing. I realized on the banner I put the 14th instead of the 13th. It's
It's
a little
okay.
thing like that.
It's okay. I didn't even think about it until I was like, wait a second. No, it's okay. When did you switch officially to Thursday? Was it just a couple weeks ago or a
Yeah, it
month
was
or
just a couple weeks ago.
okay. Yeah.
And when I kept everything in the cloud and I lost everything as far as my guests and things. They all got shifted. So I really don't know where they're at. I'm a horrible producer. And so I'm trying my best getting everything lined back out, but I think we're lined out now.
It will come. It will come together. I have
Yeah.
faith. I am not shooketh. It is all good.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, let's get into you here and what's got you started. I mean, my goodness, a psychic medium, you're a numerologist, math. When I open a math book, I get dizzy. I cringe. I want to talk about that, but your ability, how'd you discover this? What happened, Kelly?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I would just want to say back to yes, when I open a math book, it doesn't exactly flow so easily. It really doesn't. My brain doesn't work like that. It really likes language, and language is similar to math. And so, words, and for me, almost numbers can be like words, and they work like that for me in numerology. So I just look at it differently. But I got into numerology when I was a teenager, and I wanted to really find a modality that could tune into what everybody was thinking about with intuition, and if there was consistency. Like, I wanted to know if there was like some type of system with consistency. And I honestly had no idea. I looked at astrology, I looked at, let's say runes or cards, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure, but I want something a little bit more concrete. And so I was looking at astrology and numerology, the most I'd bounce back between the two. And I just started finding that consistency piece within my own brain with how I could find patterns with numerology. So I just kind of had it as a hobby on the side, and I would just tinker when I wasn't, having to do, let's say, schoolwork, or if
Mhm.
I was bored or something, or if I wanted to learn something, I'd kind of just go online and kind of look at numerology sometimes. So if it followed me, and then I started learning about numerologists and learning the way that they read, because everyone more so, there's like more consensus now, but there was less consensus with numerology, I feel, at least in the United States, like about, 15 years ago. So I was just dabbling and consuming a lot. And then I just started seeing consistencies through like my own friends' charts or family members' charts or my own chart, or, people in the public eye. You just like line them up and go, oh, yeah, like the personalities, the professions, the tendencies. Okay, there's something to that, right? And so
Absolutely.
that's what got me started, and that's what kept me with it. And it just wasn't always something that stuck with me. Like, I'd walk around and I would just count out addresses or license plates sometimes, not all the time, but yeah.
That's so cool because I try to avoid things like that.
I
And
don't
and you're going for them. You're dissecting these numbers inside your head and spiritually connecting to them, and they have meaning. I want to get into what some of the meaning is behind numerology because I'm familiar with numerology, but boy, am I confused by it. And I'm sure a lot of other people are as well. So could you explain numerology a little bit and what it is?
Yeah, it's just a system of studying numbers and extracting information from the numbers. It's the study of numbers. And it goes back thousands and thousands of years ago. But there's many different number systems. There's Kabbalic numerology, there's Vedic numerology, and these are like old ancient systems from ancient civilizations. And I don't know what exact time they sprouted, but they're within cultures. There's Chinese numerology. There's a lot of different types of Eastern numerology. And then, there's Western numerology. And that came a little bit later on. And so it has, influences, but it's ultimately different. So there's actually a lot of different ways to be a numerologist, even now. And I do Pythagorean numerology, and that's based loosely on the philosophy of Pythagoras. He was a mathematician and he had a relationship with numbers. He felt like they were vibrations and he understood them a little bit differently. So he philosophized with like math and energy, right? And so some of that mixed with modern day psychology and archetypes birthed Pythagorean numerology. And so that's the one that I just gravitated to and was out there at the time when I was first learning. And I just kind of, leaned into certain departments and within that.
That's
Um,
incredible.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
incredible that you are able to retain all of that.
There's, there's a lot to retain.
That's a lot to retain. That's a lot to put up there, and I've watched you work, and it's absolutely amazing watching you work because you change. You focus, you get in, you change, you do your thing, you do your thing, you do your thing. Okay, back to Kelly. It's really cool. It's almost as if something is guiding you while you're doing these readings. I've seen it time and time again. So it's really cool stuff. But with the numerology, what goes into a reading? What are some things you need to know from people? I mean, do you have to know all of their information, just some of it? But what do you need to know the most?
So there's many different things that you can do with numerology. Like I'm very flexible with my modality, so I don't need much to do a lot. And I think that's like for anyone who's like put a lot of time and effort. So I have like 15 years I've been studying this stuff, and then like actively doing it probably about giving professional readings with about 8 years. At first I was into healing and more psychic work. And then I was just like, why am I not doing this? I talk about it all the time. I'll use little bits of it. And so I started infusing it into my work. So there's just a lot of things I know how to do with it where sometimes I only need someone's month and day, and I could probably give an hour reading on just
Wow.
yeah. And it's because it's like for other intuitives, you don't necessarily need a whole lot. It can just be something that opens up a can of worms of you're like, okay, and now I'm in the energy. But you can also just pull a lot of things just from numbers and how people were born, just with their, month and their day, like just numerology. Again, I could probably tell you 15 minutes easy about yourself, right? Because I have your cycle information, I have the vibration when you were born, and I have the way that you express yourself in a large part of your personality, all within those two numbers. So it's a lot.
That's
It's a lot, yeah. And if
that's
you
pretty
saw me
incredible.
for it's really fun. If you saw me for a full reading, my goodness, like we can go in so many different departments because I have your name. I have I have as much as you want to give me. You can give me as little or as much, and I will give you ton. And it still will not be, enough if you want to know more. There's just so much. And
So
then you
it's
can
like a download almost. It's like just all of this information is tied to their numbers to their birthday, but is it also some kind of spiritual download with you as well?
It's both, yeah. So, like, sometimes there's readings that are very technical, and if someone really wants a technical just numerology reading, most people don't. They want like a little bit of a hybrid. They want like, tell me about my energy, but tell me about my numbers, right? but they don't need to know all the, like, the details and facts of how I got there or what things mean. They just want to know about themselves. So that I can be more fluid and kind of download how I feel as I know things about the numbers. But if you're getting technical, yeah, you're going to know descriptions of all the archetypes, and then you're going to know in the different placements of the archetypes what that means with how someone lives their life.
Mhm.
So it's going to highlight that they're more likely to have certain careers. It's going to highlight that they, have had issues with family in a certain way, friends with certain ways, that maybe they're going through relationship issues. That's all going to be illustrated in their chart with how their numbers are sitting and what the numbers mean.
That that's amazing on how all of this goes together, and each person is completely unique. So
Yes.
they have the reading. Each person is unique. You have houses. You have prime numbers and things. I mean, I don't know how all of this stays in your head, and you're able to give a reading from it. But that's amazing. That's a lot to set up for.
Well, that's part of the reason why I walk around sometimes and I just do license plates and
Practice.
addresses because it keeps me kind of fresh. Does that make sense?
That makes complete sense.
Even when I wasn't doing it primarily, I was just like, I need to, just have a little bit of a let my mind do that from time to time. Yeah. Yeah.
That makes total sense. And what I want to do, I want to take our final break here. When we come back, I kind of want to get into the difference in switching to mediumship and how it's different from a numerology reading and things like that. So, you folks have, if you have any questions, be sure and put them in the comments over there. We're not going through YouTube again. For those of you trying, just try to connect through Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. We're on all the different social media platforms out there other than YouTube, but we'll be back next week. You guys stay tuned. More Haunted Voices on the way.
No matter the questions, Ellie Weisensell can help you find the answers. Ellie is a gifted intuitive and a natural energy healer, which she applies using the body code and emotion code healing systems, among others, to help you achieve balance for your best results. Are you looking for more clarity about which direction to follow with your life, health, or career? Let Ellie guide you. As a psychic, Ellie can provide clarity to the path you are on, so you may use your free will to change the direction of your life. Are you wanting to communicate with a loved one who's passed? As a certified psychic medium, Ellie Weisensell can connect you with your loved ones on the other side to facilitate healing or offer closure. To schedule your appointment with Ellie, look her up on Facebook at Ellie Weisensell Psychic Medium or email her at ellieweisensell@gmail.com. That's Ellie Weisensell, Weisensell.
Nearing the bottom of the hour here, folks. We are back, of course, with Kelly Brickel on Haunted Voices. We're talking with her about her psychic mediumship skills. She's a numerologist. She's a teacher. So many amazing things we covered. If you guys missed the first part of the show, you can catch it. You can find the replays on social media. Of course, the best place to find it's right there on our Podbean channel, Haunted Voices Radio. Just search it, and that'll bring it up on your favorite social media platform. But we were talking about numerology, Kelly, and how fascinating it is. It's still mind blowing to me, and I would really like to sit down and watch you do a full reading, because it's just to me I would need a nap after something like that.
Well, I mean, it's just a skill, There's a lot of things where I'd need a nap afterwards that people could just do so easily, right? It's just the way
Yeah.
our brains kind of just operate. We all have different brains.
Are you confident enough? I've got to ask this question.
Okay.
When you write these numbers down and this information down on paper, do you use pencil or do you use a pen?
I use a pen.
Ah,
But
confidence.
well, I mean, there's a lot of chicken scratch. Here you go.
That's good. That's good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. No, but switching into that, from that to mediumship. Now, mediumship is night and day. Um,
It
having a
is.
psychic reading, and then having someone come through. Now, there's some that see images. There's some that are clairvoyant and can. I think that's seeing, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
clairaudient is hearing. How does all this intertwine? Does this intertwine at all, or does it just kind of shift? Does it switch like a light switch?
Yeah, so I mean everyone's so different. Like again, it's kind of like your brain gets lit up a certain way and certain people have predispositions to using their brain a certain way. Like if you're very artistic or if you let's say in math if you're really good with geometry and I'm shifting around as I talk. If you yeah, if you're really connected to shapes or if you're connected to language or if you're like a really musical person, like you could play a music or you could have like a vast knowledge of let's say like rock albums or whatever. You just have like this music knowledge. The spirit world, just like when you are being intuitive and you relax your brain, it's going to use you in a way where it stimulates things that are naturally a part of you. So you go, oh, I see that, I know what that is, I hear that, I know what that is, and it comes in a way because you're just kind of more that way on average normally. Now, not every reading is cookie cutter, as you know, and there's
Mhm.
sometimes you'll get things way out of your normal ballpark, and you're like, I've never experienced that in my life. I don't normally see that. Like, you never know what's going to happen. But I would say if someone's predominantly clairvoyant, and that comes from like, French, like voyeur to see, or, audient to audio, right? To hear. If someone's primarily a seer, they're probably going to be a more visual person in their everyday life, as well
Okay.
as with audience, they're probably going to be like a little bit more based like that with everyday life as well. I hope that makes sense.
That makes so thank you. Oh my goodness, does that make sense? That clarifies it because it gets confusing because some I know everyone has these intuitive abilities. Everyone has the gift. You have to choose to open yourself to it, I believe. I feel I'm kind of close because I'm a little busy right now, so I keep that to myself. But when do you know when you should say something or not to the person you're giving the reading to? Is there any kind of filter, Kelly?
Oh. Okay, so like when I'm actually in a professional reading,
Mhm.
okay? Um, I really trust what I'm feeling and what I'm getting. Um, and I will understand if things are like hard or difficult, or let's say if something is kind of laced in anxiety, like I will have that understanding as I say it, especially if it's, a psychic reading, or you'll understand and be connected to your sitter, the person you're reading for, even if like a spirit is around, you're aware of their emotional state to a certain degree, right? And you just kind of, you're just as, for me, the way that I do it, I'm okay with being vulnerable. Maybe I'll sweat more as I'm doing it, but I'll say, hey, like, this is coming in. It's making me aware that this is difficult. And do you understand this? Right.
Okay.
And yeah, so I will be very forthcoming where I understand it's difficult or I understand that it's something that they don't normally talk about, right?
Yeah, you would warn them. You would give them some kind of warning before you completely change their life. I mean, because some of these readings I've heard are absolutely life changing. I mean, totally mind blowing. And I still don't know how it works. I really don't. But it's very interesting to see the connection with the energy.
I would say so. You said you don't know how it works. So all of a sudden I was flashed something like an example of how it works. And I normally don't use this example, but it's like, one of many examples, right? It's kind of like someone comes into your, let's say, office or on Zoom, right? And they're like a family member, even though you've never met them in your life. All of a sudden, you feel like they're a family member and you are familiar with like a history that instead of being told by someone about the history or experience, like with your cousin, your mom, or your sister or brother, you know it and experience it in a different way. And because you know the history and you know this family member, you go, since I know this about you, I'm going to give you kind of a heads up because I feel like this is great for you, or this isn't good for you. It's like having a best friend for like an hour where you just go, in my in my knowing of the situation, I'm going to kind of say these things.
I see. Okay.
It's much more neutral than that, but like the feelings are like you connect to someone like a family member, almost. It's very like it's kind of intimate sometimes. Like you're just like,
Yeah.
my heart is open to this person. I connect to this person.
That
So
would be
then,
there has to be a lot of emotion, a lot of tears, um, maybe some anger, maybe some frustration coming out sometimes on some of these for the person hearing this information for the first time. But I don't
depends on the reading,
I've had yeah, it depends on the reading, and it's
depends on the
and
person. Yeah.
everybody's different, and it depends on what you guys sense, how spirit helps you relate it, how help spirit helps you. Because I've heard readings where they'll say something like, "There's a blue ball in the shed that needs air," and they're
Yeah.
thinking, "What a blue ball? Blue? I don't have a blue ball." But it probably in their shed somewhere, there is a blue ball sitting there that's flat and just needs aired up to play with. It could be something like that, right?
Yeah, it has deeper meaning, and the better we are at our jobs, the more we understand the intricacies of why we get something. There's many times where I go, I'm seeing this and I have no idea what this means. I'm just putting it out there just in case you do. Usually within my job, if it's if I'm doing my job well, I will have a knowing or a feeling why I hear or see something so I can work with it. But there's some times where I'm just like, and I have this and I'm
Mhm.
and I'm not sure. And that blue ball, in the shed could be like a reference to, um a blue basketball that dad gave somebody, in a very important memory that they forgot was in the shed, and they want to take it out and play with their kids with it. It could be something as meaningful and deep as that, but it might just look like a blue ball in a shed if you
Right.
don't kind of right.
And then down the line, 2, 3 weeks down the line, it hits them. Hey, wait a minute. Yeah, I can see where that can happen. That's pretty intense. That's pretty cool, Kelly. I mean,
It's cool.
that's skill. It's a gift. It's something that you have honed over the years. Now you're certified through Lisa Williams, LWISSD, and that alone, I hear, is quite tough.
There's a lot to do. Stories, right?
I mean, people just can't be you just can't do this. You have to learn, don't you feel you have to educate yourself more? You have to really dive into this if you want to do it right, do it professionally.
Yes, I do think that there's some people that I do think, don't need always the path, step by step in front of them, and they just kind of are guided to be however they're guided to be, and they're in integrity and they're skilled. But I would say, even if, like, let's say you're naturally gifted, it's really good to have different minds making you aware of how to experience things, because you might have a certain way of doing it, but then you just have never seen another way of doing it, so you think like maybe it's only this way. That's on a very vanilla level, but I mean, I think it's important when you're sharing you know minds and experiences, and you have a teacher that maybe you feel like, okay, I can do this, but you have a teacher who has 20 years experience, 30 years experience, and they're saying, think about it like this or try that. And it's not like you have to be that, but to put yourself in that place, and everyone's there for a reason, that you learn things way quicker and way more efficiently if you're in a group led by a quality teacher versus you're on your own figuring it out. It's just the learning is exponentially, increased. It just is. So I'm a big fan of it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good, because there's a lot that are fly by night. They'll take a few classes. They're out there doing this, and just like in the ghost community, we can do an private investigation and ruin that family for life. Okay, if we
Mhm.
went about it the wrong way, that those people are changed for life. A psychic can do the same thing if it's
Yeah.
improper, if they don't know what they're doing, if they just watch a couple episodes of whatever the long thing is. I don't remember the name of the show. They watch a few
Right.
episodes of that and they think, okay, now I can go to grocery stores and I can tap somebody on the back of the shoulder and give them a reading. What are some things you would say to new people that are interested in this, that feel they have an ability? What are some things they can do?
I would say that it's important to develop your skills and understand what that means to you, and understand like your own journey with how you came into this, what your intentions are, what your experiences are. And at the end of the day, if you're getting, and I say this a lot, but it's true because I don't think there's a certain timeline for everybody. Um, or certain way for everybody. But if you are getting like consistent results, if you are living in truth, if you are helping people and you're not delusional about that, and you're very observational in what you're doing and bringing to others, and you're getting feedback and you're helping people, then great. But if you are just learning about your gifts and you are finding, I want to grow, like it's really important to have space with your emotions in your mind where you're not being influenced by the world around you. And when you do find you do want help, to surround yourself with quality people that will guide you with integrity and encourage you to be brave about your skills, because
Mm.
this work isn't necessarily easy. If even if people have ease in it, it's not easy. And it's important to have a support system. It's important to understand emotionally what it does to you when you are putting yourself out there, whether you are received well or whether you're not received well, and how to learn as a sensitive person to deal with all that.
Well said.
Thank you.
Fantastic info. Thank you for clarifying all this. My goodness. This has been amazing. And I normally do a shorter show. I've got just craziness going on. But this Kelly has been an enjoyable time. I can't thank you enough for coming on here. Now, other than kellybrickel.com, where can they find you on social media and places?
Okay, absolutely. You can find me on uh, Instagram, Twitter, all those lovely places, just through Kelly Brickel. Um, yep, that YouTube, all through Kelly Brickel. Just type me in, and there I am.
Good. That's perfect. Perfect. They go to the website, one stop shop. They get to find out about the readings, what you have coming up. You've got some events coming up or anything, or are you just kind of taking a chill pill for a while?
I have been taking a chill pill for a while. I'm still doing readings, so if people want to have a reading, I've been, having fun doing those. But I've been taking a chill pill on teaching for a little bit, but that's coming up later this year. I will be doing live readings on Shelly Sanders' show this weekend. So if anyone wants a free reading, we're going to be doing psychic and mediumship readings on Shelly Sanders' show. And upcoming, I have some numerology classes and clairvoyant classes coming up, but that's like more so in the fall. So heads up with that.
And you have a show here on the station, the Psychic Hour, that airs live Wednesdays and Fridays at 3. Tell the folks about that, what they can expect.
Oh, yes, of course, of course. Absolutely. So every week you can find me on the Psychic Hour, and I usually have an interview show every week where I have a lovely guest going into their life and sharing who they are. That's psychic medium or healer. And then there's a reading show that we do as well, where I give live readings with numerology and psychic readings every week, and that's usually on a Friday, but not always. So yeah,
And
that's
we got something fun in the works too. So
oh yes, yes. Should I say anything? I don't know. Should I? Am I?
totally up to you.
We got a numerology show getting into the works, so that will be debuting soon as well.
Very soon.
Exactly.
Very
We're
soon.
coordinating the finals.
Yeah, there's so much good stuff. You bring, I just can't thank you enough for all you do for the station, all the people you help. It's amazing watching you work. You're genuine, and I don't say that about too many psychics. I really don't. A lot of psychics out there scare me, but there's some that are genuine that I know are doing this and they're doing the right thing and they're doing it for the right reasons, and you're one of them, and I thank you for that.
Thank you, Todd. I mean, what can I say? Like, I have so much fun, being a part of WLTKDB. Like, you put together such quality in the content, and you really do care. So right back at you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on here, Kelly. It's been great. I can't wait to have you back again. Maybe we'll get together. We'll do some readings one of these nights, have some fun. It'll be a good time.
Oh, I would love it. I would love it. I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic. You take care. I'll see you soon.
Sounds great. See
All
ya.
right. Bye. And there she was, Kelly Brickel, folks. My goodness. So much going on. Now, if you missed the first part of the show, like I said, you can catch the archive there at hauntedvoicesradio.podbean.com. That's hauntedvoicesradio.podbean.com. Or you can just search Haunted Voices Radio. It'll come up to you on Google. Mr. Mike Hatcher. Hi, Mike. And Michael Christopher's back. There's Tim. Hi, Tim. That's okay, my friend. That's okay. Everybody's getting used to this whole Thursday schedule thing. We're getting there. We are getting there, slow but sure. But we've got some great stuff on the way. Once again, be sure check out the author site. It's 10% off. It's only going to July 21st. 10% off of your purchase there at the checkout, so you can get a paperback book for like $6, $7, and some change. It's pretty cool stuff. And coming up next week, let's see who we have coming up next week here, if my calendar's working. What we have, we've got a lot of good stuff here. Next week, we have got Maria Celeste. She's going to be joining us. And also coming up on the 27th, we have Christina Bloom is going to be joining us. Cindy Schrader Hill is on the 3rd. So many people coming back here, and we are accepting guests. We're booking for September and October. So if you're interested in being a guest here on the show, just email us at producer@WLTKDB.com or contact us through the website. Either way, we'll get that information. Just send a bio and a photo. That always helps and all that fun stuff. But from all of us here at the station and Haunted Voices, we wish you all a phenomenal week and the rest of your weekend. Thanks for taking time to listen to these live shows. I know they're crazy to get to, but we love having you guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
The truth is here and now on WLTKDB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.